Yeah. Switch up my talus when I can manage. Okay. Yeah, it's just
We turn to page 332. Yedid nefesh avarachaman meshochatecha el retzonecha yarut avdecha nemol alaya Verse 3. Vatik yehemu larachamecha v'chusana al ben ahuvecha kizekama yipsoch misati lirot v'tiferet uzecha ana eli fenda
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome, welcome. I'm Rabbi Benjamin Zober, and with me, of course,
Rabbi Sarah Zober, and welcome.
we are so glad that you are here to bring in Shabbat with us on this wonderful evening. And to all of you out there in internet land, welcome as well, wherever you may be tuning in from.
For those of you who are online, please feel free to download our virtual Siddur. It has everything that you need just in case you don't keep a Mishkan Tefillah right next to your computer for just such occurrences. For those of you who are here in the sanctuary, if this is your first time in a synagogue or if you are not used to Mishkan Tefillah, yes, it does open up the other way from all of our English books. We were doing it first, though, so you can't say it opens up backwards. English books open up backwards. What we will do is we will announce our pages if they are not consecutive. So we will be moving on to page 7. If we don't announce a page number and you can't find the words on the page, turn to the next page. It's probably on that one. Page 7.
We read responsively, "Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished. Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat, abide.
Help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time. Contain the retreat of the hours and days from the grasp of frantic life.
Let me learn to pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into a quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat, abide." We're actually going to turn in the wrong direction and go to page 2 for our candle lighting. And it is our pleasure to invite up David and Lauren Friedman.
Now, for those of you who don't know, David and Lauren's sons, Ari and Noah, are becoming bar mitzvah tomorrow morning. So if you are interested in hearing Torah read by Ari, he has been working very hard. We encourage you to come back tomorrow at 10 a.m. to see them kind of strut their stuff. The blessing is actually... Yeah,
Go for it.
light the candles first. Oh.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tivan l'haviver shel Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you. We continue on to page 12. Generally, at the very beginning of Shabbat, as the sun is going down, we sing a few psalms to get us in the mood for Shabbat. So we will be singing selections from Psalm 95, which can be found on page 12. nekadma fanav vetoda Bizmirot narialo Lechoneranena Yai dai 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 Adonai Yada dai 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 Naria Yai dai 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 Letzoy Yishenu Yada dai 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 Ki El Gadol Adonai Adonai Umelech Gadol Kol Elohim Elohim Lechoneranena Yai dai 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 Adonai Yada dai 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 Naria Yai dai 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 Letzoy Yishenu Yada dai 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 Yada dai 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 Yada dai 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 dai
And we turn now to page 20 for Lechadodi. This evening we will be singing the odd verses, that's 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. And when we reach the 9th and final verse, if you are able, we invite you to rise and turn to the entrance of whatever space you are in to welcome the Sabbath bride into your midst.
Tonight's arrangement of Lechadodi is actually from the Iraqi Jewish tradition. So hopefully you will be able to pick up on it. It's pretty repetitive, so I think everyone will be able to pick it up. Lechadodi ligrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi ligrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibor echad. Yishmiyanu el hamiyuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad. L'shem u'tiferet v'litehila. Lechadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Mikdash melech ir melucha kumitzei mitoch ha'hafecha Rav lach shevet be'emek habacha vehu yachamol alayich chemla Lechadodi ligrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela Lechadodi ligrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela hitorari Ibarech umiori uri shir daberi kevod Adonai alayich nigla Lechadodi ligrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela Lechadodi ligrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela V'hayu limshisa shosayich v'rachaku kol mevalayich yasis alayich Elohayich kimsos chatan al kala Lechadodi ligrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela Lechadodi ligrat kala Panei Shabbat nekabala, boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'betzola, toch emunei am segula, boi kala, lecha dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabala, lecha dodi likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabala.
You may be seated. We continue with Chatzi Kaddish on page 26. Yitkara v'yitkara shmei Rabba, v'yalma divrach irute v'yamrich malchute,
B'chayechon u'b'yom echon, u'chayei kol Beit Yisrael, bagala, u'bizman kariv,
v'meru.
Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach, le'olam lo me'omaya, yitbarach.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitzaleh, v'yithalal, shmei d'kudisha perichu, leila min kol birchata v'shirata,
Tushbechata v'nechemata, tamiran be'alma.
v'meru.
Amen.
We turn to page 28, and if you are able, please rise for the Baruch Hu.
Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
We continue on page 31 at the top of the page together. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Aravim.
Ahavat Olam can be found on the next page. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limad כן אדוני אלוהינו ושוכבנו וקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו לאורך ימינו ובהם נגע יומם בלילה נגע יומם בלילה באהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל אוהב עמו ישראל. The Shema can be found on the next page. Noah, would you like to come up and lead the Shema with me?
Yeah.
Come on up. Come on, Noah. See, this is how you know the difference between the two brothers. I said to them right before the service, I said, Noah, my gift to Noah is that I'm going to have him come up and help me with the Shema. My gift to Ari is that I'm not making him do anything in this service. Come on up. Here. Are you ready? Do you want to do it first and then I'll do it after you?
Yeah.
Okay, you do it. Okay, go. Wait, the microphone's right there, so you got to say it nice and loud.
Shema, yes, we're in Hadonai, Tanahino, Hadonai, and will worship, can one my heart do it tonight, but and
Everyone together. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. You may be seated. Thank you, Noah. That was really good. You want to go sit with your parents again?
yes, Daddy,
Awesome. Good. Via Hafta can be, we continue on page 36 with the Via Hafta.
ואהבת
את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך
ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך וברכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם המזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Adonai Elohechem.
Emet.
We turn to page 38 and we read together in the English. All this we hold to be true and trustworthy for us. You alone are our God, and we are Israel, your people. You are our sovereign and Savior, who delivers us from oppressors' hands and saves us from tyrants' fists. You work wonders without number, marvels beyond count. You give us life and steady our footsteps. You performed miracles for us before Pharaoh, signs and wonders in the land of the Egyptians. You led your people Israel out from the midst to freedom for all time. When your children witnessed your dominance, They praised your name in gratitude, and they accepted your sovereignty. Moses, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices joyously. Micha Mocha can be found on page 40.
Nora tehilo tosefela, Nora tehilo tosefela. Mahutecha ra'umanecha, okay, ayam lifnei Moshe. Ze'elianu ve'amru, Ze'elianu ve'ameru. Adonai imloho le'olam va'ed. Adonai imloho le'olam va'ed. Yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai 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 dai. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
We turn now to a reading that is not in your books, but we will come together at the end with the Chatimah. Even this late it happens, the coming of love, the coming of the light. You wake and the candles are lit as if by themselves. Stars gather, dreams pour into your pillows, sending up warm bouquets of air. Even this late, the bones of the body shrine, and tomorrow's dust flares into breath. Together, Baruch Atah Adonai, Haporei Sukkot Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Amo Yisrael, Ve'al Yerushalayim. Vishamru can be found on page 44.
Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat v'doratam berit olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat v'doratam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, oti le'olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat v'doratam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat v'doratam berit olam. Ubayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat v'doratam berit olam.
We now turn to page 46 for the Amidah. If you are able, please rise. Adonai sifatai tivtach ufi agita ilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor Hanorah, El Elyon, Omer Chasadim Tovim, Vekoneh Hakol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, Umevi Gula Livnai Rehem, Leman Shemo Ve'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh Hakol atah Rav Le'Hoshia, Morid atah, Mechakel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayeh Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Somer Noflim Berofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Ishenei Afar, Nichamocha Bal Givurot, Umidom Melach, Melech Be'mit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, Mene'emanata L'Hachayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. Atah Kadosh v'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kedoshim b'chol yom Yalucha Salam, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. We continue silently to page 62. Please be seated when you are finished or when you feel ready. Oseh Shalom can be found on page 62.
Oseh Shalom Bimromav. Oseh Shalom Bimromav. Huyaseh, huyaseh, huyaseh Shalom. Huyaseh, huyaseh, huyaseh Shalom. Huyaseh, huyaseh, huyaseh Shalom. Elenu. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. Oseh Shalom Bimromav. Oseh Shalom Bimromav. Huyaseh, huyaseh, huyaseh Shalom. Huyaseh, huyaseh, huyaseh Shalom. Huyaseh, huyaseh, huyaseh Shalom. Elenu. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one bring peace down. May the one bring peace down. May the one bring peace down to us. At this time, we think of those in our community. We would normally do our
Torah
evening
service.
Torah service, but we have the privilege of hearing Ari chant and Noah give our summary of the Torah tomorrow morning. So if you would like to hear some Torah, please come back again at 10 o'clock. Same time, same channel. That goes for you out in internet land as well. You are welcome to join again via internet. So moving past that, we do want to make sure that we spend a little bit of time thinking of those in our community who are in need of healing, whether it be of body or of spirit. At this time, we are thinking especially of Wendy Alderman, Laura Ann Borsoff, Marilyn Bowie, Neil Calder, Laura Cohen, Jeff Gingold, Stephen Gold, Al Grossman, Marlene Harris, Harvey Higdon, Laura Jawad, Kevin Knox, Harav Miriam Yael Chaya Batsara, Tim Ober, Judy Ramos, Ray Riker, Shirley Rutkovitz, Sarah Batchava, Marianne Schenker, Helene Spinner, Jessica Wadatz, Bobby Wells, Usher Zalik, and Kathy Bartlett. Of course, we also are thinking of everyone who is affected by the coronavirus and the Jewish and other communities in the Ukraine as well. If there are other people that you'd like to mention in our prayer for healing at this time, please do so as my hand sweeps over you. John? Thanks, John. Thanks, Mary.
Elisa Savitz Glasser.
For all the people that we have mentioned and for those whose names remain in our hearts, our song for healing can be found on page 253.
can be found in the middle of the page.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Just as we were leaving the house the other day, I noticed that at the fire station across the way, the flag was at half staff. I wasn't entirely sure why at that particular moment the flag had been lowered. A mass shooting, death of a significant person, I couldn't say because all of these things were possibilities. There is something dreadfully wrong when we are no longer sure which tragedy we are supposed to be focusing on. And if the flag is always down, does that mean we are always mourning? It is tempting to think that we are. Between the various crises our world is facing and the interconnectedness that modern media has created, we are touched by death every day. Not a day goes by that we do not hear of someone's passing, a friend, a family member, a friend of a friend, or someone even more distant brought close by our modern world. But headlines and social media posts do not make us mourners. In our tradition, mourners are the people most closely affected by a death. Parents, children, siblings, spouses. Our expanding definition of family has also expanded that group a little bit. We would not refuse mourning to someone who has lost a beloved grandparent or a friend who, but for birth, we might call mom or dad. We mourn differently when the person is closest to us. When we learn of someone's death, we may jot off a few words on Facebook or muse over the death that we hear about on the radio or television, if it is not someone that close to us. And we are sad and we are touched, but we are not in mourning. But we know that there is someone who is mourning. There are people directly and powerfully affected by these deaths, both the ones that are tragic and the ones that we saw coming for so long and yet still hurt. So what then is our role if we are not mourners ourselves? What do we do when we are still connected to people in the grip of grief? This week's Torah portion introduces us to an idea about death. The Torah portion sets out rules for what happens when someone touches or comes into contact with a dead body. According to the Torah, the person is impure for 7 days. They must wait those 7 days, and they cannot return to the community or enter into the Mishkan until someone cleans them and their house with a mixture of ashes and water. To understand these rules, it helps to think of them not as a system obsessed with cleanliness and order, but perhaps, as Rabbi Birken Eichler explains, biblical purity is a symbolic system which highlights the power of confronting mortality and the subsequent need to ritualize the reaffirmation of life. We have come a long way since sprinkling ashes and water. We still acknowledge the power of separation and what that time of separation was: spiritual care. When someone in our community dies, we do not let the mourner grieve alone. After the burial, we take 7 days, just like in the Torah, this time not to isolate the person or purify them, but to allow them to sit and wrestle with their deepest grief. And we accompany them. This period of Shiva, the 7 days, is filled with love and attention. We bring meals to the mourner. We sit with them. We hold them. We cry with them. This is how we, affected more by the grief of our friends and our relatives than the death itself, help those affected most. From there, perhaps overwhelmed by 7 days of deep reflection and memory, they begin to emerge and return to their lives. From there, we continue to care for them, still attentive for the next month, a cycle that mirrors the waxing of the moon as light slowly returns to life. Then a bit more until a year has passed. And then when they have cycled through an entire year without their loved one, we recall their memory for yahrzeit on the anniversary of their burial and at solemn occasions throughout the year. And those moments are not done alone, but in community. We gather a minyan so that they are not alone or overcome by a return of grief. We do this because we cannot live in perpetual grief. We cannot keep our flags constantly lowered, nor should we. But for those who must mourn, our role is apparent. We are not there to sprinkle them with water, but to spend those 7 days surrounding them with friends and family. When we or they emerge from Shiva, we are not healed, we are not better, nor is our grief gone. But like matter which is neither created nor destroyed, it has transformed. We are ready to return to something like normal life. When we attend Shiva for someone around us, we are not mourners, but we are there to help them grieve. We cannot live in mourning forever. When we are moved by the sadness or tragedy, but ourselves are not mourning, that is when we have work to do. That is where we come in, not healing and returning like those in grief, but being alongside them. It may not restore their purity, as the Torah describes, but it helps them return from isolation. We help them return to a place spiritually where they can re-engage with the community and the world. Rabbi Avital Hochstein reminds us that what it means to be alive is to be capable of becoming pure after contact with death. Yes, The dead defile forever, no matter how much time has passed. But a living person can toggle between states of impurity and purity and can be renewed. The rituals outlined in the Torah tonight describe a means of renewal, a way to emerge from grief and mourning. We have always had occasion to seek renewal from deaths that have touched us, years in the wilderness where we received the Torah that we read on Shabbat and other times, even after the destruction of the temple. From there emerged a petition we still say, a reminder that we can overcome our grief. Kaddish Amenu Kekedem, renew our days as of old. We still need to be renewed, and still can be with the help of community, of family and friends, even when our grief seems too dark to escape. Today we can be renewed through Shiva. And those of us who are not touched directly by grief, we play a role there too. The ones who will sit with the mourner. It is our way of emerging from grief, for returning to life, to being renewed, this Shiva. Our grief can be deep, but it does not have to be permanent. May we come together as those in grief and those who comfort the mourners of Zion. And may we benefit from a simple prayer suggested by Rabbi Rachel Barenblatt. May this transition be what you most need when you hurt. Shabbat Shalom. We turn now to Elenu, which can be found at the bottom of page 282. Would like to invite up Daryl and Vita Dworkin to open our doors, and if you are able, please rise.
Elenu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Page 285. Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. And may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever. Page 287.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. At this time, we are remembering Carl Weinberg, the victims of the Highland Park shooting, Eli Kane, David Stucker, Terry Gregory, Grayson Corbett, Joan F. Nutkin, Andrew Venuti, Gerald Kaufman, Goldie Brewstein, Lucille Alexander, Stanley Browdy, Edna Bailey, Deborah Danif Cassell, Will Spiegelman, Leonard Fusari, James Holly, Ken Hecht, Roberta Small-Reich, Edward Gingold, Cookie Carolyn Javinsky. And this Shabbat, we commemorate the yahrzeit of William Bowles, Marcia Boris Gwynn, Kenny Cardaci, Irsel L. Carter, Irene Freeman, Betty Kay, Joel Goodman, Walter Ott, Sam Salmiers, Martin Zwelling, Doreen Lee Barnett, John Jacob Filzer, Jack Jackson, Bill Metz, Herman Berger, Margaret Pavolny, Milton Schwartz. If there are other names that you wish to add, I encourage you to do so online if you are in the comments, if you are comfortable, and here when my eyes meet yours. For all of those names, Kaddish Yatom can be found on page 294. If it is your custom, please rise. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach lirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon u'chayei dechol beit Israel, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei Shemei Rabba Mevarach Le'olam Ulmei Almaya. Yitbarach Vishtabach Vitpa'ar Vitromam V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yitaleh V'yithalal Shemei Dekudisha Barichu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechemata Ta'amiran V'alma V'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Elenu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Osei Shalom Bimromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Elenu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all who mourn, to which we say, Amen. You may be seated. Jay, no, not okay. Laura, can we get some announcements? Thank you.
Hello, hello. At the end of a brisk Friday night service, please, please, please do join us for what promises to be a wonderful Saturday morning service with Ari and Noah tomorrow morning at 10. We would love to have you. They are both so incredibly prepared, and we are so very proud of them. If you are not in the Cool Club, or even if you are, but you like extras, there are Torah study sessions at 10 a.m. on Saturday. We will start with Genesis.
No Torah study.
No Torah study. It's just on the announcements list to trick you.
Yeah, sorry.
I mean, we're working on it. Modern Living. Tomorrow, Ari and Noah. Sunday. All right. There is no such thing as a free lunch in life, but there is the next best thing. On Sunday, if you promise to help out with some heavy lifting with the Sinai school projects, the rabbis will feed you.
And we have non-heavy lifting.
And non-heavy lifting projects. So please do join us at 10 a.m. on Sunday to get everything ready for the fall semester of Sinai school, which is so important. On Tuesday, if you are free midweek, 12 to 1 p.m., please join us for lunch with the rabbis. This is a bi-monthly event most months where you can pick the brains of our most illustrious rabbis and eat something of your own choosing in the small social hall. Next Friday, we start Shabbat Under the Stars, our summer series. Please do join us at a slightly earlier time, 6 p.m. This month, that event is at Northgate Park. I'm sure it is at different events in August and September, but Northgate for July at 6 p.m. should be lovely. And then also for your roster next week, please by Thursday, RSVP to Sisterhood at Sinai Reno if you would like to join for lunch and bowling at the Outback Steakhouse in Sparks. The event itself is actually on Sunday, but please RSVP so that our lovely leader has time to reserve for you by midweek. All right, good to see everyone tonight. I'll turn it back over. Thank you both.
Laura?
Yes. Oh, yes. Sorry, I was meant to say special things about Pride Week, and I totally forgot because I was so concentrated. All right. If you would like to help us staff our Pride booth for Northern Nevada Pride, which is super important, please contact either the office at Sinai or directly to Tova Ramos. She is organizing our booth staffers for this year's Northern Nevada Pride. If you would like to march in the parade itself, please show up by 10 a.m. We don't know specifically where we are in the parade this year, but they will let us know before everybody starts marching. So if you show up early enough, we will scoop you up
23rd.
and join you in so
we have
that
a big
you can
banner,
march
so
with
if
us.
you're lost, just look for the banner. You'll
With the
find
big
us.
banner. Yes. Promises to be a good time. We will be there with Ronan in tow. He got a rainbow temporary tattoo last year, and he's quite committed to going again for a second one. So please join us and all these lovely people. Thank you.
Thanks, Laura.
There will be cupcakes.
There will. Oh, Cupcake Rabbi is bringing cupcakes. Yeah. So we sponsor Pride each year. And we love having lots of people hanging out around the booth and marching with us. We usually march with the NICE congregations. NICE is the Nevada Interfaith something with inclusion and equality. Yeah, something. But it's all the LGBTQ affirming congregations in Northern Nevada. We all march as one big group, one after the other, to show people that there are people of faith who are happy and excited to invite anyone queer into our congregational families. So please join us. It should be a raucous, fun time. And there are cupcakes, as Rabbi Myra said. So, if nothing else, we know how to get to your heart through your stomach. Thank you as well to Laura Smith and Jay and Amy Goldberg for being our greeters this evening. And thank you to Michael Gordon for manning our tech booth. If you would like to join Michael as one of our tech people, I always say if you can get into a Zoom room, you can be on our tech team. It's really that easy. Our 11-year-old ran it for the years during the pandemic. So it's really that easy. If you plan on being here, Mike would be happy to help show you the ropes. I think that's it, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Our final song can be found on page 328. Yeah, good. Mipiel umipiel yevorach kol Yisrael. Mipiel umipiel yevorach kol Yisrael.
Ein Adir Ka'adonai, Ve'ein Baruch Keben Amram, Ein Gedolah Ka'Torah, Ve'ein Darshaneha Ka'Yisrael, Mipiel, Mipiel, Yivorach Kol Yisrael, Mipiel, Mipiel, Yivorach Kol Yisrael, Ein Hadur Ka'Adonai, Ve'ein Vati Keben Amram, Ein Zaka Ka'Torah, Ve'ein Chachameha Ka'Yisrael, Mipiel, Mipiel, Yivorach Kol Yisrael, Mipiel, Mipiel, Yivorach Kol Yisrael, Ein Tahor Ka'Adonai, Ve'ein Yachid Keben Amram, Ein Kabira Ka'Torah, Ve'ein Landaneha Ka'Yisrael, Mipiel, Mipiel, Yivorach Kol Yisrael, Mipiel, Mipiel, Yivorach Kol Yisrael, Ein Podeh Ka'Adonai, Ve'ein Tzadik Keben Amram, Ein Kedosha Ka'Torah, Ve'ein Tomcheha Ka'Yisrael, Mipiel, Mipiel, Yivorach Kol Yisrael, Mipiel, Mipiel, Yivorach Kol Yisrael.
For those of you who are here, please head over to the social hall for an oneg sponsored by the Friedman family in honor of their sons Ari and Noah and them becoming bar mitzvah. If you are online, please join us on our Yisma Zoom. Michael will be putting up the Zoom codes. Shabbat shalom, everyone.